Thank you for watching Detroit in Overdrive. Presented by General Motors.
It is a city unlike any other, filled with the hopes and dreams of an entire nation. It is resilient, innovative, and driven to succeed. This is Detroit, a city that has known the good times and weathered the bad. Now, through the dedication and hard work of its people, the Motor City is rebuilding. One neighborhood, one block, one brick at a time. GM proudly presents Detroit in Overdrive. Detroiters are known for their do-it-yourself attitude and strong sense of community.
All right, nobody's allowed to get hurt, injured, or maimed. Watch out. Party time.
Thousands of volunteers descend on blighted neighborhoods for cleanup day.
I have pride in the city of Detroit, and I'd be doggone if I let my city go down.
A young woman single-handedly tackles the plight of the homeless.
You're going to hire homeless people to make these coats?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Food trucks travel the streets, and community gardens blossom on empty lots to fill a dire need.
People are poor, trying to eat healthy without a whole lot of finances. Detroit became like a food desert.
Groups of artists transform abandoned buildings into a vital, creative community.
Don't expect to come in here and get a Class A office, but you're more than welcome to build yourself out a Class A office.
And bowls of soup stimulate grassroots problem solving.
$10 doesn't seem like much, but for someone who can't even scrape $10 together to get an ID, it's huge.
As Detroit rose to fame as the auto capital of the world, it became the place for people to come and prosper.
You know, when people talk about the Great Migration from the South, almost 250,000 people migrated north up past the Mason-Dixie line to basically, you know, work in all of the car factories. My grandfather was one of those people. He remembers having this panicky feeling about seeing snow for the first time. He was happy. He said, but when it was still there the next morning, he was worried. I guess he didn't know.
Kristen Koth and Malik Mukaribu run the Pink Flamingo, one of the only food trucks in Detroit. And they know their city and its diverse communities like the back of their hand.
Detroit has all of these ethnic communities, like that huge Polish community over by Hamtramck. Downtown Detroit has...
It's got a Greek town, and then you have Southwest Detroit, which is...
more Mexican.
Right.
And then also even Corktown, that's the Irish community. It's definitely like a big melting pot of all different ethnicities.
The Great Migration wasn't just people coming from down south. It was people coming from other countries to, but not just get a factory job, but build businesses up around.
Making better lives for themselves than where they came from originally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Detroit created the middle class.
But with the modernization that came in the 50s, the middle class left the city for the suburbs. So did many basic amenities, like supermarkets.
We started the Pink Flamingo out of this need for getting healthy food out there in the city where there was no options. And from the first day that we started opening up and people were coming to get food from us, they wouldn't let us close our doors. There you go. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
You know, people just can't up and go to a fancy restaurant to get, you know, wholesome food.
Fancy restaurants. People are poor. They're trying to eat healthy without a whole lot of finances.
Pink Flamingo sources much of its ingredients from local community gardens. Gardens born of necessity, rooted in the history of the city. The flight of the middle class, the race riots of '67, and recent economic hardships left Detroit in ruins. Many abandoned houses were torn down, leaving behind vast plots of empty land.
Definitely community gardens are coming about because there's so much vacant land. Oh, good to see you. One of the community gardens that's popped up right down the street from me in Corktown is Brother Nature Produce.
This is sorrel. Watch Malik's face when he bites into this one. This is a lemon.
Oh.
It's really sour.
Greg started Brother Nature right around 3 years ago, and he started off with 1 plot of property and turned it into 8 plots of property.
How many people do you think you're going to have today?
Today is one of our busier days, so I think we'll do pretty good at
3
greens.
pounds?
Yeah, probably at least 3 or 4 pounds of greens. That'd be great.
So I'll get you a few pounds of the greens and some parsley and some chives for today. It should hold you over.
How much property does Edith have?
Edith's got 12 properties right now.
That lady's going to take over the whole block.
She probably will. She probably will.
A few blocks away, Edith Floyd is another of a growing number of Detroiters reclaiming the land. The amazing thing, though, is this is not the Michigan countryside. It's not even suburbia. This is downtown Detroit. Once a burgeoning house-lined middle-class neighborhood, it's now known as the jungle.
Okay, today we're gonna water the boxes. We need to pick up the trash from around the garden, cut the bushes, take the trash to the compost pile. Okay, let's go. We all work together. My name is Edith Floyd, and I'm a farmer in Detroit, Michigan City. How y'all doing?
Good, how are you? Everything's looking great.
It's a lot of hard work. Oh. Huggable man. I was born in South Carolina. My mother and father were sharecroppers. We're gonna be weeding the onions. This half onions and half leeks.
What started you off gardening?
I grew up on a farm, and I always love to see things grow.
It's a very hard work.
It's hard work, but I like it.
When did you first start to notice your neighbors leave the neighborhood?
It was in the 70s when Chrysler first closed their Hamtramck plant. People started moving out of the neighborhood, then they started dumping a lot of junk, and I didn't like that, so.
Everything that we grew up with, things that we cherish, all of a sudden our neighborhood's burning, all our friends are moving out.
Yeah, but every time they move out, I put a garden in. The whole block has had 62 houses on it. It's all gone now except 5. I want every lot that nobody wants. There's no stopping me. I'll just go until I can't find no more land. I'll get the whole block.
Do you honestly feel like the gardens have done what it's needed to do to help bring the neighborhood back?
Definitely. You get the kids involved. Look how many kids we have here from the neighborhood come and spend time.
It's health, too. It's about keeping people healthy. I started my garden because I found out that I had diabetes, and the doctor said I have to take better care of myself if I want to live longer.
Do you have cravings for sweets?
All the time. I love to eat chocolate cake and cream pies. Every year I gained 5 pounds till I got diabetes, and that's when I start thinking about what I need to grow.
For Edith, diabetes was a wake-up call, not just for herself, but for her family and community.
All the good grocery stores move out of Detroit. Only thing around here is gas stations, and that's it, gas stations. There's nothing that you would want your child to eat for a meal. Make me want to open my own grocery store, my own fresh food store.
I don't think there's a grocery store within 15, 20 miles, easily.
Here's an example. What you get for breakfast?
I didn't eat breakfast.
See, she didn't have
Okay, then what about for lunch?
McDonald's.
For Edith, growing healthy food for herself and her community is crucial.
This is what all the kids are going through.
As Edith tackles the city's food problem, another Detroiter is rolling up her sleeves to help the city's homeless.
This is an intense whisk.
Veronica's getting her morning exercise.
I know.
When I walk around the streets of Detroit, there's so many people who aren't as lucky as I am right now with what they have to go through on a day-to-day basis just to get shelter, just to get food, to get heat. So I started volunteering for some shelters, and I've been going for 5 months.
1 in 47 people in Detroit is homeless. That's close to 20,000 people in need of food and a warm place to sleep.
My name is Veronica Scott, and I'm currently a product design student at the College for Creative Studies here in Detroit. College of Creative Studies is one of the top design schools in the world, and I'm taking a design class on social activism. The goal is to identify a social problem/need and to create a product to address it.
What are you thinking?
I want to do a coat that turns into a tent or a sleeping bag for the homeless that I've been working with. So what I want, it has to be like really basic and really square almost. So here's the hood I got here. Like here's the sleeves. The idea came about watching some of the homeless people I've really gotten to know travel 20 miles just to stay warm in the winter.
I think it could work, but I think the idea of keeping it simple, warm, weatherproof, lightweight.
Can't make it out of Gore-Tex, you know? That stuff is really expensive. How do I?
Just rough it out, cobble something together, and let it evolve from there.
The goal is to find something that could be affordable, sustainable, comfortable, and warm and dry in one of America's coldest climates. So I figured the next thing I gotta do is work on a bunch of prototypes.
How are we gonna test these things out?
I'm actually thinking you should bury me in snow. I've ended up making 5 prototypes total.